Okay, hi everybody. We
We're
promised
back.
that we were going to drop a special episode,
Here it is.
and here it is. With only days to go before Christmas, we had to get it in before the big day. We are introducing right now a rewind episode. These are the days when we used to have Mike, our old wayward.
Yeah, I was going to say
Mike.
you may not recognize the third voice, but Mike's out there.
This is all the way back to episode 37,
Woo!
which was originally dropped mid-December 2018, the first year that we were in business here at TMI.
I haven't listened to this in a while. Does it sound like we know what we're doing? It doesn't sound like we know what we're doing now. Sorry.
No, it doesn't. There's no difference. So this is the first time we attempted a Christmas show, a Christmas special.
Yeah, we loaded this.
We loaded it. So, and it's in and out. It's only like 35 minutes.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. Now
so
we're
talking
2 hours.
I know. On one of these, we could go 2 hours on one of these shows, and we'll probably have to revisit.
We are going to have to.
But we filled this up. We talked about the holiday special, the Star Wars holiday special. We talked about the Grinch. We talked about Charlie Brown. I think we threw an Emmett Otter in there.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Frosty. I think we talked about Frosty too.
Yeah, there's
on
gonna
this
be
one.
Frosty. Christmas. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw some Rankin Bass in there.
But there you go. So we wanted to give you something for Christmas.
Wow, that's short. We must have just mentioned them.
I know.
Like I think we just did the episode.
Yeah,
Rudolph.
yeah.
We had to hit Rudolph.
We had to, yeah. So now I'm going to have to listen to this along with you out there to see what we even talked about.
So there you go. Take a listen. Get you in the mood.
Even though we said this last week, again, I can't stress this enough. Hope everybody out there has a very, very happy and healthy holiday season.
Yeah. Peace, love, and everything else.
Yes. All right. Thanks. Enjoy.
The moment our fellow geeks, dweebs, nerds, and other unfortunates have been fervently waiting for has finally arrived. It's time for TMI, Confessionals of the Nerd Kind. And now, your hosts, Jeff Nerf Herder Chandler, Jim Kaiju Baker, and Mike Mjolnir Evans. And now, let's get on with the show. Here is TMI.
Feliz Navidad.
Ho, ho, ho. Happy Christmas.
Yes. Festivities. How happy Festivus to the rest of us.
To the rest of us. We've made it to the end of the year, gentlemen. We still exist.
We have. That is epic.
What number episode is this? It's 37, I think. I think we're at 37 with this one.
Oh, I feel like we were hitting 50, I guess. So we got more to go.
What do we do with the podcast name since it's 2018 and we'll be going into 2019?
We're going to look archaic.
We are, but I'm too technologically ignorant to change. That would have changing our email, changing everything. Our Facebook.
Yeah, that would be.
We committed.
Well, it's a legacy thing now.
It shows how little faith Dave had in us when he set all this stuff up.
This thing ain't lasting more than 4 episodes. Dave, hope you're having a nice Christmas. So the holidays, huh, boys? Got some eggnog.
This is our third big
cookies
recognition of the holidays. We did a whole month of scary stuff in October. We did Thanksgiving, and now we're at Christmas.
Yeah, I can't wait till Groundhog Day.
I know, Arbor Day.
We're watching Groundhog Day. It's Groundhog Day.
Let's watch the Lorax for Arbor Day.
Oh, I like that. Oh man, we could just
and of course July 4th,
Independence Day,
or the Patriot. We could double up on the
Patriot or Born on the 4th of July.
Yeah,
no, nah. There's better Tom Cruise movies to watch.
Or how about Easter? We could do 10 Commandments.
We could.
Or Here Comes Peter Cottontail.
That's it. There's no other Easter movie.
No, the Rankin Bass. Here Comes Peter Cottontail.
The Passion of the Christ. Is that it?
The Christ, that's another
Passion of the Christ. Yeah, that's it. That's an Easter movie. We can do season 1 of Davy and Goliath.
Hey, Davy, why are we made of clay?
So we digress, as always. This is our Christmas
This is
episode.
this whole episode's gonna be nothing but one
digression. Yeah,
digression. Going right down that rabbit hole.
we could actually probably pick a whole lot more, but we've narrowed this down to our top 3 Christmas.
It is, and even then, that's top 3 is hard to kind of.
Oh, believe me, we're going to be probably mentioning a lot more specials than just what's in our top 3. But
Absolutely. The
stream of consciousness type discussion here.
What are you implying that we don't have this written right down to the?
No, none of us knows what each other's top 3 is going to be. So this is all going to be. We could all have the same stuff, and then
there's at least. I'm going to have to say there's at least 2 that are going to be identical.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Mike and I both pulled out the exact same inspirational speech last episode. So
now I was trying to really go against the grain and pick out something that was maybe not an obvious choice, but I couldn't. What I think that you guys have in your top 3 has got to mirror what I have, because you really have to go with your heart on something like this.
Oh, you think so, do you?
Let's see. Maybe
it didn't. There is one I have, but it does not make my top 3.
Yeah, there's a bunch that I've written down that didn't make my top 3.
Yeah, we can.
Let's begin. Should we do this?
3, 2, 1.
You know what? Why don't you take it? Are we going 3, and you want to start, Jim?
All right, I'll go 3. Now, this was number 1 and number 2 was easy for me, but number 3 I really had to fuss over. There was much grinding of teeth and wailing here with number.
Is that what that noise was?
I was throwing Rudolph up there.
Rudolph is now banned. We can't talk about him.
That's ridiculous in itself. The Year Without a Santa Claus was in there, but as I watched again The Year Without a Santa Claus in the past 2 days, just to really refresh myself and to really cement my top 3, just to make sure that I knew what I was talking about.
Doing your homework.
The Year Without a Santa Claus is the Heat Miser and the Cold Miser.
Oh, that makes the whole thing. Yeah, that's it. That makes the whole thing.
You would watch that show just for that scene.
Yep.
And then the rest of it is disposable. And that 10 minutes, if that was a show by itself, if they built the show around those 2, that might have gone into my top 3. But as it is, I can't put it there. I can't lie and say that show in its entirety would make my top 3, because otherwise you've got a lot of boring songs with Mrs. Santa. They really padded out the hour that they had there. So, having said that, my number 3 is the animated version of Frosty the Snowman.
Ooh.
As narrated by Jimmy Durante.
Yep.
Frosty the Snowman was of happy soul.
And then they did he had a little cartoon cameo, and he was in there.
I wonder if Kevin Cronin from REO Speedwagon is in any way. So, whenever I see him, I want to say, ah-cha-cha-cha. But yeah, Frosty is a Rankin Bass production.
Yep.
But it still very much has that Rankin Bass look to it. It
is a classic.
Yeah, and it's animated in such a way that it's 1969 is when it came out. And you could tell that the animation then is not the scrimped over animation of the 70s and 80s. It's, now we've gotten into computer graphics, so it's really, everything is state of the art comparatively. But back then, just the popping of the colors, all the 60s kind of wardrobe even that the animated characters have. That girl in Frosty the Snowman has a little mini skirt on throughout.
Throughout the entire thing.
Brings her up to the North Pole, and of course she's freezing to death.
Yeah, she's freezing. Let's take her into the greenhouse. Oh no, Frosty's melting.
Then we've got the subplot of the magician trying to steal the hat.
You're making me. I forgot his name.
It's a half an hour. It's no longer than it needs to be, and I think it does its job in summoning that Christmas spirit. What say you, gentlemen, about Frosty the Snowman?
That's a good call.
Good call. It was actually my number 3 as well.
Oh,
yes.
Frosty the Snowman.
Now, what's funny is that this was a CBS production. It was always be on CBS.
Still on CBS.
And they would team it with the extremely boring 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
With the mice.
I hated that.
Right? With the mice.
That was just something to be endured until Frosty came.
Yes, you had to sit through it. You're like, all right, I'm committed. Because it wasn't like we had much choice.
No. And usually they would pair it with that rather than Charlie Brown or Rudolph. Because Rudolph was an hour, so that would be on its own night. I don't really know what they would pair Charlie Brown with. Maybe it would be its own thing. But yeah, Frosty is my number 3.
Nice.
And Mike's
You have anything
too.
to add to that, Mike? Your Frosty experience?
No, it's one of the ones that I still enjoy watching from time to time. It's just it has a happy ending.
Dumpity dump dump dumpity dump dump. My number 3 is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Not the Jim Carrey movie, but the original animated Boris Karloff cartoon. How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Reasons, memories? What do you got?
Oh, listen, just the song alone is, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, what is that guy's name? Thor Ravencroft, I think.
Frosty or Tony the Tiger.
Yes, that's
Tony the Tiger.
And also one of the many voices in the Haunted Mansion in Disney World.
You know who steals that cartoon for me is Max.
Max.
Who then becomes the reindeer.
Because he's the sympathetic. So let me ask you this. The little special is awesome. I love it. Obviously, they turned it into a 2-hour movie. And now there's an animated version with Cumberbatch. I don't know if I necessarily... It looks good. I think I got good reviews. I don't know if I necessarily need to.
Yeah, my son saw it. I did not.
And did he enjoy it?
Well, I asked him if it was any good, and he said, meh. That was his...
Meh. Meh.
Yeah.
He would fit right in well with this show. Meh. So if you go with the whole world of Dr. Seuss and Horton Hears a Who, and the Who's live on the little puff of dirt on the little dandelion.
Yes.
And there are Who's in Whoville in the Grinch. So does the Grinch live on that little puff of dirt as well?
Well, they do establish that in the Jim Carrey version. Anthony Hopkins is the narrator of the Jim Carrey version, and he says right in the beginning, on a snowflake lives this tiny little village of...
then maybe I just haven't paid much attention to that one.
So they don't say it in the cartoon.
No, they don't. But when you start comparing notes, you're like...
But yeah, whoever wrote the movie did, I think, obviously want to tie it in to the other Who's from the other...
Okay, that makes sense.
Stories.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Thurl Ravencroft. It's not Thor.
Oh, there you go,
Yeah.
Ravencroft. This is the last name alone. I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole.
But is it just me, or whenever Boris Karloff speaks, it sounds like he's talking through a phone receiver?
It might have been the way
Any other voice sounds crystal clear. It's like he probably was very old at that point, so maybe he had to literally...
Maybe he phoned it in. Old school Edison, little cup up to your...
Exactly, yes.
Into just hang on.
Yep, amongst probably, I can envision him sitting in his den with all of his Frankenstein ephemera around him. Now, I have a confession to make. As a kid, I never liked the Grinch.
Whoa.
No.
How dare you! The impudence! The audacity! The unmitigated gall!
I did not like
Was he
that
too
special
scary
as a
for you?
kid.
I will not watch
in
that
my
show
head.
with you. I will not watch that show.
I equated it in my head with Twas the Night Before Christmas, something to endure.
You really? Did he scare you?
No, I just thought it was kind of boring. The Chuck Jones animation is great. It
phenomenal.
has a lot of similarities to his Warner Brothers work with, Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner and Bugs Bunny and all that stuff. Ricky Tikki Tavi, all those
Ricky
classics.
Tikki Tavi, man.
Ricky Tikki.
That's a great one.
Going off on a tangent here, also the Cricket in Times Square, which
Oh, yeah.
he did a Christmas version called A Very Merry Cricket, which is also up there in my top 10 probably.
Very Merry Cricket. I can honestly say
Where was I going?
Ever.
Oh,
where are you going with this?
getting back to the Grinch, there's a lot of animation that repeats during the whole sacking of the village kind of stuff, where you see the same images over and over again with the bundles of stuff coming out of the chimneys while the Grinch is
and he kind of, right?
As a kid, I always thought that was a cheat, like that they were just replaying the same.
So the bother you, like when the Flintstones were walking and it was just the same background going.
Yes,
rotating. You're like, wait a minute, we saw that tree. Oh, we saw that house.
But today, I have to say that the Grinch is one of my favorites, but not as a kid. So that's why it's not my top 3.
I always enjoyed it. I like him.
So that was your number 3?
That was my number 3.
So I guess we're at my number 2 now.
Yep.
So I would go Emmett Otter.
Which one?
I can't believe Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. This is my wife's favorite in the entire world. I was never privy to it.
Really?
Because I didn't have HBO. It was an HBO special.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I met my wife and she introduced me to this Jim Henson Muppets. Yep, it is a staple of my family home.
In itself.
I can't
special.
believe that I didn't make that high. That didn't even cross my mind. That's a great one.
Yeah.
I've never
Mike,
seen
what
it.
about you?
I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
No.
Wow. Yeah, it is. It is good. It is up there.
Underprivileged kids.
Hey, Ma. Their little Emmett Otter.
Because this was a big deal. This
Paws
premiered
to a
in
chest.
1977 on HBO. You know, obviously Christmas time, and they really built this thing up because the Muppet Show was in its, I think, second season at the time. So maybe its first season, but
77.
so, you know, it wasn't just a Sesame Street thing anymore, Muppets. So any kid that was worth his salt that had HBO knew all about this Emmett Otter special that was coming up. And I remember watching it when it premiered on HBO when I was 6 or 7 years old. And it was amazing. And my dad sat there and watched it with me. And I remember him commenting on how they could move the puppets while they were rowing a boat. So talking and they were operating the mouth as if a hand was up there, like in the water, which I'm sure it was. They were probably just moving their arm along with the boat, but it was like such a technological feat at the time. It was very impressive. Well,
that was a year before the Muppet movie came out. So, you know, go to the scene where Kermit's riding a bicycle.
Yeah.
Look, he's got feet. He's walking. He's ducks. Yeah.
And so you know, it's funny you mentioned that is because there's a couple of different versions of this. One, the original had Kermit in the beginning of this special.
Really?
And he introduces
the host? Yeah. He was like the host.
He was the host. And the River Bottom Nightmare Band runs him off the road because he's riding his bike.
I remember that. Wow. I think maybe I did see this as a kid because I vaguely remember that.
Yes. But he sets that up. He sets up who Emmett is. And then all of a sudden in their convertible comes the River Bottom Nightmare Band and they leave him on the side of the road. And then the story starts.
Hit and run.
But I think when they sold the rights to the show, when the show went off HBO and went on to syndication, that whoever bought the show from HBO didn't have the rights to use the Kermit character. So that opening was cut out of it. I think in the DVDs that are out now, Kermit's back in. I'm pretty sure.
I was going to say, that sounds very familiar. So I'm wondering if either we have an old VHS tape. I don't even own it on DVD. It would have been VHS.
I know my version on DVD has Kermit in it.
Okay. All right. If you ever want to watch anything entertaining, you're really entertaining. You can, it's all over Facebook, and I'll see if I can find it and share it. Or outtakes from the filming of Emmett Otter.
Really?
So just silly where like puppets are falling over or a prop doesn't work correctly. So it looks like it could be very tedious trying to film that stuff.
Is this still shown on TV at any time?
It's actually, matter of fact, I think that they're doing. I don't know if it was Fathom or Regal is doing a special screening in theaters, and it's only like a 40-minute little special. Is it an hour long?
Yeah, it's probably 40 to 50 minutes tops. I think they made it so it would be an hour-long special if shown on TV.
If you add commercials, right?
But the soundtrack, all Paul Williams songs, and it's a great soundtrack. And only this year is the first time that it's been released on disc.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
All you aficionados go out there and get the soundtrack. Now I'm
drawing a blank. There's a song with the hole in the bottom of the bucket.
Hole in the washtub.
Hole in the washtub. Yeah, good stuff.
And of course, the River Bottom Nightmare Band. Cross between Elton John and Alice Cooper. Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Good call on that one. I like it.
So basically what this is, anybody that hasn't seen it, Mike, I'm talking to you.
I'm talking specific. I'm looking at you right here, Mike.
Emmett Otter he's probably a 9 or 10-year-old otter that lives with Mama Otter, and their father has passed away and leaves them very poor. He was a snake oil salesman. The plot of the special is that Emmett and his mother independently enter a talent show to try to get the other a Christmas present. So Emmett and his little friends get together and form a jug band, and they're going to play a song for the talent show. And his mother is going to sing her own solo song as a part of the talent show. Also in the talent show is this rock band called the River Bottom Nightmare Band. They all have Gene Simmons boots, and they end up winning the talent show, but Emmett and his mom end up learning something along the way. And that's he makes a hole in the washtub in order to
and now she can't
end up base.
Get extra money because she washes clothes for a living or something.
Yes. So that's a sacrifice for them. And she hawks his toolkit.
Yes,
and that's what he uses to do odd jobs. So they both sacrifice something in order to get into the talent.
And they screw themselves. Well, the dad died because I think he got run off the road because he was trying to get to the otter side. Roner.
So
Sorry.
that's my number 2.
Now these are must watch. These are like must watch. You like Christmas can't happen until you watch these, right? Is this what we're establishing here?
Yes,
I think so.
Okay, I'm just setting the.
Although it goes off for me without Jim's number 2 pick.
You have to watch it, and then maybe it'll be your number one next year.
Okay. I can actually go with a number one because you have my 2 and 3, which is Bowie and Bing's Christmas special.
Oh.
This is the Little Drummer Boy Peace on Earth 1977 special.
Wow.
And so this is sort of that intergenerational get-together. It was filmed in England in 1977. Bowie didn't want to do it, but his mom liked Bing Crosby, so he went ahead and did it.
Fine, Mom, I'll do it.
They finally had released the single in 1982. So
It took them that long?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, because that is such a classic, iconic song now.
And Jim, this must be on your list.
Well, you see, Mike, this is part of a Bing Crosby. It was called the Bing Crosby Merry Old Christmas, the special. And it was one of these variety specials that had a number of different guests, and Bowie was one of the guests.
Yeah.
So he sang The Little Drummer Boy with Bing and then did Heroes solo. He did not sing Heroes with Bing, unfortunately.
That would have been great.
It would have been great. So I've never seen this special in its entirety. Of course, I've seen The Little Drummer Boy because, everybody's seen that many, many times. And I would like to find it, actually, the entire hour-long special. I think Bowie is only in those 2 segments. I don't think it's an entire thing.
The entire thing.
But yeah, that is a great little snippet. And I think it was filmed only less than a month before Bing died, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
It aired after he died.
Yeah, and he was sort of trying to go mainstream. I think more mainstream at the time, which he eventually ended up doing. Bowie, that is.
Bowie.
Right, yes.
Interesting.
And have you ever seen the parody with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly playing Bowie and Bing?
No.
Was it a Saturday Night Live?
No, it's a Funny or Die clip.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, there
Will
you
Ferrell's website. This was probably from 3 years ago, but it's really funny. Maybe I'll share it on our Facebook page.
Nice. Looking forward to it.
So yeah, I approve of that choice.
I like it. Is it mine? Number
It's
2?
yours.
All right. This is a goofy one, but I do dig it out. I have a bootleg because it doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. Is the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Oh.
That premiered one time and one time only on CBS in November. To the point where I had to go to my grandmother's in order to watch this because we didn't even have CBS. Is it your number one?
Jeff.
Is it your number one?
Are you telling me that you cannot go a year without watching this?
My kids have been indoctrinated. We watch it. It is, well, listen, it's non-denominational. Chewbacca needs to get home in time for Life Day.
Even the most stout-hearted Star Wars fan can sit through BR.
It is a guilty pleasure. Because it is so bad.
Starship.
Yep. It is for lack of a better term, it's a variety hour. You got Art Carney.
It's 2 hours. It's not even an hour.
Oh, is it 2 hours?
Oh, time flies when you're watching.
I guess so.
Time stops.
Art Carney and B. Arthur both sing. Let's see. Yeah, you got Jefferson Starship, and they're not Starship. I think they're Airplane. Jefferson Airplane. And then you get introduced to Chewbacca's family. Lumpy's his little boy. And the greatest thing about this special is...
I thought Lumpy was his father. Have I stopped?
Now you're really... Yeah, because what's the little kid's name then?
I don't know.
I think you're right. I think Mala is his wife.
And I think...
People are yelling at me right now. Because there are people that watch.
The interspecies sexual attraction between Chewbacca's father and Dion Carroll is a little bit disturbing.
Oh, yeah. He's watching a video at one point, which is just basically holographic porn. Yeah, that's pretty epic. But the Boba Fett cartoon, because this came out 2 years before Empire Strikes Back.
I will concede the one worthy aspect of this special.
And this makes you lament the fact that Lucas never approved an animated Star Wars because it's Nirvana, who they did eventually use for droids and the Ewok cartoons, the Saturday morning cartoons, but it's not the same. Yeah, you got your introduction to Boba Fett. And you have a very heavily made up Mark Hamill in what can only be described as effeminate makeup, and Carrie Fisher, who also sings. And Harrison Ford is in it, begrudgingly. Yeah. He does not look happy at all.
Of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, he does not look, and it's all used footage. Any of the, Vader or any of the ship shots are all just rehashed from Star Wars. But that was our only Star Wars fix outside of the movie at the time. And yeah, I had to go to my grandmother's. And somewhere, I think on my VHS are the TV commercials.
Yes, on my copy as well.
There's one for a robot, his name is Tobor, which is, even as a kid, you realize is just a robot backwards. It's like, wait a minute, you put no thought into that.
That's one step above Lobot for Empire.
There you go, Lobot. But I turned this thing on for my children and their friends and my niece and nephew. So, yeah, there you go. And Chewbacca does make it home in time, just in case you're worried.
For Life Day, right?
Life Day. Yes, and matter of fact, diehard Star Wars fans actually celebrate Life Day. There's a specific day, and that is the day that this premiered, is considered Life Day.
Did it premiere on Black Friday? Was that when this was out? The first?
That actually sounds about right. That it was the day after.
No, I do remember watching it when it was on that one broadcast.
That was
I sat up with every other kid and watched it.
And then I think Lucas went out of his way to try and burn every copy.
As a kid, you don't think this is terrible, like you would as an adult.
No, like I said, it was the only other Star Wars. And the making of Star Wars, when that came out and was on TV, and R2 and 3PO host that, and you get the behind the scenes, the making of or whatever. I mean, that was it. That's all you had. Maybe a Starlog magazine every now and again, but you didn't really have anything.
Yeah, I mean, we're dying for content, right? And it's like, come on, I'll take anything.
Yeah. And I think Lucas, and it's just a very, very poor decision to say, we're gonna do this, and then immediately regretted it.
Yeah, it's too bad. If they ever did release this on Blu-ray or DVD and put some worthy special features on there of how the hell they came to make this.
Right, yeah. You want to see the thought process.
How did B. Arthur get involved? Yeah. That would be enjoyable to watch. Yes.
And that B. Arthur song where she's the bartender in the cantina, and it's like closing time, and she's just
it's like a Casablanca kind of a thing.
And the Art Carney where he's like Julia Child's alien, the multi-armed alien making holiday dishes. It's crazy. No, it's Harvey Korman. I apologize. That's Harvey Korman.
No, but Art Carney is
also in it. Yeah, he's like some handyman or whatever. Yeah. So there you go. That's my number 2, and I'm sticking with it.
All right. So back to me now. Have we all gone?
It is back to you.
Have we all gone our number 2s? Yeah.
No,
I gave you my number 1 already, because my number 2s were Grinch and Frosty, 2 and 3.
Oh, I didn't realize that you were Grinch. So you were right there with me, Grinch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you already did your number 1, Mike?
Yeah, I had to do that. Was my number 1 because I had no 2 or 3.
Oh, okay. So my number 1, there was no question in my mind. I couldn't argue this at all. Internally, Charlie Brown. There is nothing better. That's the apex of Christmas for me.
It is.
Really?
Is it Linus's inspirational speech?
It could be.
Yes.
The soundtrack, I have the album, which is longer than the actual special. It's double. Yeah. So, and just the fact that it's the first Charlie Brown TV special, there's a naivete about it. The animation is very old school Charlie Brown, and it doesn't really look like any Charlie Brown special that's come after it. Exactly. It's got the original voice cast, and I meant to jot the kid's name down, the voice actor that originally did Charlie Brown throughout the 60s. My favorite of all the Charlie Browns, I'd have to say. And yeah, it's still, I think, of all these kids specials, it's the most powerful message I think that we've got. It's the most touching, I think, as well.
It is.
Come on, who could not shed a tear the first time they see this?
I don't think I shed a tear.
Don't recall.
I don't remember shedding a tear. What's your thoughts on the Blue Sky Peanuts that came out last year or 2 years ago?
I enjoyed it. I liked the fact that they kind of tried to incorporate the highlights of most of the specials in the movie while having its own plot at the same time.
Yeah, I thought it was well done. I liked it a lot.
So did I.
I enjoyed it. So, and I thought the voice casting was pretty good, pretty solid.
Yeah.
We didn't resort to stunt casting and bringing Justin Bieber as Snoopy or something.
I didn't find fault with the computer animation either.
I thought that they did a fantastic job of kind of picking up on that Schultz look and feel.
It was like a 2-dimensional look, but with the
3-dimensional shading.
Yeah. So, I like
That's a good call. Listen, you can't go wrong with the Peanuts, any one of them.
And I just found it, I would like to see the original version that was brought to you by Coca-Cola, because I think at the beginning of the original special that was aired in the 60s, it had a banner in the opening credits with Coca-Cola on it.
Oh, really?
Sponsored by.
Sponsored by.
But I think
And
that's
all the kids are sitting around drinking Coke.
lost to the decades, I think, that is that opening bin.
Very cool. So we have to skip Mike because they already went number one. You jumped ahead there, sir.
I had to. There was no choice. No choice in the matter.
You got to go. You got to go.
You gotta go. You gotta go.
I had to get it off my chest.
There you go. You had to get Bowie off your chest. What? I'm gonna go back to Rankin and Bass. Santa Claus is Coming to Town
A nice one.
is my all-time favorite. You
Fred
can't.
Astaire?
Fred Astaire is your host. What is he? Special delivery, SD, and he has that cool snow tread delivery truck. You got Topper, the Penguin. Mickey Rooney is Kris Kringle. And then you got the Meister Burger, who just hated toys. For whatever reason, he hated toys. And the Winter Warlock was always scary until he melts. So there you go. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yeah. My favorite aspect of this is Mrs. Claus. Hot.
Well, yeah, but then you know, she lets him go, and she says, "All right, well, as long as you're getting fat, I'm going to get fat too."
Doesn't it sort of have Chitty Chitty Bang Bang undertones to it? The town with no toys kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which was first, this or Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
That is a great question.
This was
Chitty Bang Bang,
1970.
I'm going to say Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was 60.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, I think, was 67. So Chitty Chitty Bang Bang came first.
So they stole it. Good call, Mike. They stole it. I smell a lawsuit.
So nobody mentioned Rudolph.
It's almost a given, Rudolph, but I can go without. Like, I actually watched Santa Claus is Coming to Town on YouTube last night just because I wanted to. And it's nice. They cleaned it up. It looks good. And all the songs are awesome. There's a lot more songs in there than there are in Rudolph.
I think if we had a top 5, maybe Rudolph would find its way.
I think it would have to.
Yeah.
So the one thing with Santa Claus is Coming to Town is so he's an orphan baby. And so I'm just wondering if we found out if there was a sequel, if we found out that he was really the illegitimate child of Apollo Creed. I'd watch that. Claus 2.
And you know what is interesting in these Rankin Bass? There's no real carry through with the Santa Claus character. He always looks different, and he's always got a different origin of sorts.
But he's still played by Mickey Rooney.
Still played by Mickey Rooney, except for the first Rudolph, the bullying Santa.
Oh yeah, the badass Santa, the jerk Santa.
But you know what I do love from Rudolph? That Santa, the scene where Mrs. Claus in the beginning is continuously trying to get him to
eat, Papa, eat.
It's like my grandmother.
Right, she's Italian, all Italian. So
do we want to name some honorable mentions?
I was going to say what did not make your list. We haven't heard from Mike. So, Mike, if we went 5. Oh, man, we're making him think.
If we went 5, I got nothing.
Nada?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I like them, but there's, I don't go out of my way to watch them.
But if they happen to be on?
I will.
What about Christmas movies? Flipping channels, and all of a sudden there's.
I think that's a whole. I think we got to keep that until. But we can. That's a whole other discussion. We can.
That is a whole other discussion because you made me change my number 2 the minute you said that it was only specials.
Because I could go Christmas movie, sure.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you right now.
I'm going to blurt mine out. Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh, you went classic.
I got to watch it. I have to see that.
And for me, Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life for me.
My number 2.
See, I had Elf. Elf is like it's a newer movie, but it's I can't not watch it.
You see, now you don't have to listen to next year's show.
Exactly. Maybe it'll change. Maybe something else will come up. But just because Elf does kind of pay homage to those Rankin Bass, because all the little characters that exist in the North Pole are all claymation.
The Narwhal.
Yeah. When he's leaving, he's like, "Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. Bye, Mr. Narwhal." Such a great exchange. No other show has ever had a narwhal on it.
But what's funny is that it kind of gives you the impression that there was a narwhal in the old shows, but there wasn't.
Yeah, he was just off screen. He was just
like, the narwhal. Wait a second, that wasn't in any show.
And then the snowman is not Sam, but he was like a funky. I can't remember what his name was. What didn't make my list? The other one, which is a little obscure, but it's a great. Whenever it's I don't own it, and I don't really think that there's. Any TV station that's like, we got to play this, but when I see it, I have to watch it, which is Santa Claus versus the Martians.
I only know that from Mystery Science Theater.
I've actually seen it unimpeded with little robots making jokes throughout it. It is something. It is a sight to behold. It's a fun movie. You should check it out.
I'm going to.
Yes, Santa versus the Martians.
I would like to give a couple of the ones that I had written down but didn't include in my top three. Mickey's Christmas Carol, which is the animated Disney version of the Dickens story from '83. It was made as a short. I don't know what movie it played in front of, but it's
It had to have been really short.
It's like 25 minutes, I believe. So it's not a truncated Mickey special, but it's a pretty lengthy special. So you can find it on the Mickey's Treasures volume that came out in the 2000s.
Can I just fathom a guess that it's Scrooge McDuck who plays Scrooge?
Oh yes, yeah. We've got a
typecasting right there. I don't like that at all. That's typecasting.
Goofy is Marley's ghost.
Marley
tripping over the chains that and Pete is the ghost of Christmas Future. So, the big bully Pete that throws Scrooge down into the grave at the end.
Nice going there, Pete.
So yeah, I like that one. The Jim Carrey version is not bad either, of Christmas Carol. If you're gonna go
Scrooge, you might as well just go Bill Murray Scrooged.
Scrooged, yeah. That's a good one too.
Sir, we can't get these antlers to stay on the mice. Did you try Staples? That's a great movie.
Now, since you guys didn't have HBO, you might not know this one, but I've seen this many times as well. The Rich Little Christmas Carol.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Where he's doing every 70s character under the sun so it's a one-man show basically, and he's playing every character as a different movie star. So Edith Bunker is in there, Johnny Carson, John Wayne, the people that Rich Little would normally impersonate.
Right, back in the 70s.
And Paul Lynde as
Paul Lynde, there's a channel, I think it's MeTV, has actually been playing the Paul Lynde Variety Hour.
Oh, really?
He had Kiss on there the other day, and it was awesome.
But it's funny to hear him, Mr. Scrooge.
Right. Paul Lynde.
That's Bob Cratchit. That's who Paul Lynde is.
So there you go.
Those were my honor.
Any Christmas songs that you must hear?
The Band-Aid. Do they know it's Christmas?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
That's up there for me.
Okay.
How about you guys?
All I Need for Christmas Is You. I don't know if that's the name of the song.
The Mariah Carey?
Mariah Carey, yeah.
Oh, see, I chose the Chipmunks. All I want for Christmas is my two front teeth.
So there we go. Merry Christmas, gentlemen.
Merry Christmas to you.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Feliz Navidad. What do you got? Happy Diwali.
Ooh. No, that's past.
The robot? Oh, Diwali's past. Kwanzaa's in. Hanukkah. I'm in the middle of Hanukkah right now.
And we did mention Festivus up at the top of the hour.
Festivus, there we go.
Festivus.
If we left out anybody, we apologize.
And we hope you get everything that you want for Christmas.
Yes, including your two front teeth.
All right, so next week we're coming back. Like the plague, we are coming back.
We just keep.
And we are going to review Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So
let's hope I can pull this off. It's going to be.
I'm really excited about this. What we're going to review is a classic. I have no idea. Maybe we can.
We skip a classic and we just talk Spider-Man. I may be hard pressed to watch.
Maybe it can just be like an arachnophobic kind of an hour. We could go Arachnophobia. We could go Kingdom of the Spiders with
Kingdom of the Spiders. Or we could go the old school. Well, no, you can't go back to the Spider-Man TV show.
Well,
Jim and I did talk about that.
We did talk about the original Spider-Man TV show. Are we talking about the 60s animated or the live action?
No, the live action.
Yeah, the live action.
Yeah, the live action.
Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should.
Does that exist somewhere?
I'm sure it does. We can track it down. All right. Well, again, Feliz Navidad, everybody.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, goodbye.
All right.
Oh, goodbye.
All the way.
Hello, everybody. If you liked the podcast you just heard, then please follow TMI on all of our social media outlets. First and foremost, email us at tmipodcast2018@gmail.com. That is tmipodcast2018@gmail.com.
And you can follow us on Twitter at TMI_podcast2018. Stop over, say hi, give us a compliment. We'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. Make sure you follow us on Instagram as well, which is also TMI_podcast2018.
And of course, we are on Facebook, facebook.com/TMI TMI Podcast 2018. And it should be noted, we also have a community page, so join the forum.
And if you like to watch YouTube, you can see us at TMI Podcast 2018, all one word. Look for the popcorn bucket.
Popcorn bucket. Or you could just go to our website, which has every link there, tmiconfessionalspodcast.com. And we'll see you at the concession stand.
We'll save some popcorn for you.